All right. Good day, yogis. This is Stephen Chang coming to you live from Simha Yoga Lab in Jersey City, New Jersey. Please visit my website at simhayoga.com for the full streaming schedule, as well as my payment information for Venmo and for PayPal. Venmo is my preferred way of payment, and my handle is Simha Yoga Lab. And the 4-digit ID code, if you're prompted for verification, is 8096. Classes are $10, and if you're having a difficult time right now, $5 is fine. Please do the best you can. I'm streaming on Instagram and on Facebook, and I'm also uploading the videos onto my YouTube channel, which is Simha Yoga Lab. I'm also starting to do in-studio classes at 25% capacity. So if you're thinking about coming to class, please go to a website again and download the waiver that is underneath the pink text. You need to e-sign that, save it, and then when you email me for pre-registration for class, you need to attach that waiver so that I have it on record. Okay, today's class is open flow. It is level 1, level 2. For those of you who have tighter hips or tight lower back, please elevate and sit up on a block or a blanket. Nice elevation makes the seated position a lot more accessible. Right? Sitting up tall, palms face up. And if you are new to my practice, welcome. If you're working with any kind of injuries, special conditions, or limitations, please be mindful that you do not need to take every pose and that you need to make some good decisions about what is appropriate, what is not appropriate. So let discomfort be your guide. If you're going towards something that is feeling a little bit shaky and doesn't feel right, then skip the pose. If you know how to modify it, please modify it. And then if you're choosing to skip the pose, just stay in child's pose or whatever, and then come back and catch up with us when we get back to a pose that's more appropriate for you, okay? So please take your time and be very mindful about that. Okay, sitting up tall, palms face up. Grounding evenly through your seat. And start to let your inhales even out with your exhales. And through the breath, let the mind start to quiet. 3 arms together, inhale. Keeping the eyes closed, hands together in prayer on front of the heart, pressing the thumbs into your heart, heart back into the thumbs, lifting the heart up towards the sky, setting your intention for yoga practice, devoting your practice to someone or something or to yourself, your supreme self that lives within your heart, chanting the mantra for purification, purifying the space in which you practice yoga, call and response. Om Pavitraha, Om Pavitraha, Pavitrawa, Pavitrawa, Sarva Vashtan, Sarva Vashtan, Gato Piva, Yaha Smarit, Pundrikaksham, Sapahya, Vishyandraha, Suchihi. Beginning to open the eyes, palms face up, inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, right ear to the right shoulder, right hand to the left side. Take the chin toward the right shoulder. Release back center, drop the right hand. Left ear to the left shoulder, left hand to the right side. And then the chin toward the left shoulder. Release back to center, drop left hand, chin toward the chest. Big circles with the head in one direction, ear to one side, roll it back, opposite side, roll it center. A few more rounds at your own pace. take the chin back to center and pause, taking the opposite direction. And then back to center again. Lift the chin parallel to the floor and neutral spine, coming off your blocks, and extend the legs forward, separating your feet. Hand support to either side as you sit up tall, turning your toes toward each other, and then roll out. Draw in, roll out. Draw in, outer rotation, circling. And back to center again, switch them around. Take it back to center, cross your shins, opposite shin on top. So the other crossing of the legs, taking the arms up high, extend, twist to the right on the exhale. Back to center, arms up. Exhale, other side. Center again. Side bends, right hand down, left arm overhead. Take it back to center, other side. Center again, legs forward, forward fold. And take it back up. Swing the legs back behind you for down dog. Starting to pedal out the legs, walking it out side to side. All right, come back to stillness. Inhale, take the right heel up, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee in toward the nose and round the spine. Kick it up, open up the hips and bend the right knee. Extending the left foot back up, step it forward. Warrior one. Open it up, warrior two. Reverse warrior. Side angle, right hand inside the foot. Left arm up. And for those of you who need to modify, you can take the right arm to top the right leg, left arm up. Inhale, take it back up, reverse warrior. Hands to the floor, right foot stepping back plank. In at one breath, exhale, chaturanga push up. Inhale, falling up to an up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left heel up. Exhale, left knee in toward the nose. Kick it up again. Open up the hips, bend the left knee. Extend the left foot back up, step it forward. Warrior one. Exhale, open it up. Warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Left hand inside the foot, right arm up. Or you can modify elbow to top of the leg, right arm up. Inhale, back up, reverse warrior. And then hands to the floor, left foot, stepping back plank. Inhale, one breath. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right heel up. Right knee in towards the nose. Kick it up, open up the hips, bend the right knee. Extend the right foot back up, step it forward. Warrior one. Left hand to catch your right wrist, extend up, and side bending to your left. Back to center, switch hands, extend, side bending to the right. Back to center again. Take the hands to the hips, draw the elbows back, press your thumbs to your lower back, and then use that to give you a little bit of resistance so that you can take that into a back bend. Come back to vertical now. Round the spine, elbows reach forward, chin toward the chest. So now you're broadening the upper back. Take it back to neutral, warrior one. Open it up, warrior two. Lengthen out the right leg, triangle. Tip the left hip back, right hand forward. So the right hand can come to the floor, left arm up, or if you're modifying, right hand can go to the higher part of your shin or lower if you have a little bit more range. Up to you, left arm reaching up. Inhale, take back up, reverse triangle, bend the front knee, hands to the floor, right foot, stepping back, plank. Inhale, one breath, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, exhale, down dog. Left heel up, left knee in towards the nose. Kick it up, open up the hips, bend the left knee. Extend the left foot back up, square off, step the left foot forward. Warrior one. Right hand to catch your left wrist, extend up, side bend to the right. Back to center, switch hands, extend, side bend to your left. Back to center again, hands to the hips, use your thumbs to your lower back, draw the elbows back, broaden your chest, and lean the heart center up and back for your back bend. So use your thumbs pressing to your lower back for some additional support. Come back to vertical, kick in the opposite direction, round the back, elbows forward, chin toward the chest. Come back to neutral, warrior one. Open it up, warrior two. Lengthen out the left leg, triangle. Again, left hand to the floor if you're taking the full pose. Or if you're modifying, hand can go higher or lower on your shins for support. And then right arm reaching up. Inhale, take it up. Reverse triangle. Bending the front knee, hands to the floor. Left foot stepping back, plank. Inhale, one breath. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right heel up. Right knee in toward the nose. Kick it up, open up the hips, bend the right knee. Extend the back up, step the right foot forward. Warrior one. Bend your right elbow, left hand to right elbow, lean it back for the back bend. Come to vertical, side bend left. Back to vertical, extend, switch arms, right hand to left elbow, lean back for the back bend. Take it to vertical, side bend right. Back to center, raise the arms up, wrap the hands back behind you, interlace, gaze upwards. And then bow forward, devotional. Back up again, warrior one. Open it up, warrior two. Reverse warrior. Extend it, side angle, left palm to face down and reaching forward. So again, right hand, right, can be to the floor or elbow to the leg and extending forward, right? So those are both good options. Take back up, reverse warrior. Lengthen out the right leg, extend a triangle, right hand to the floor or hand to the shin, and the left palm facing down and reaching it forward. Take back up, reverse triangle, bend the front knee, hands to the floor, right foot stepping back, side plank, walk your feet in together. Roll arms outside the left hand, left foot, right arm up. Right palm to face down and reach forward. Extend. Right hand comes back down, plank, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left heel up. Left knee in toward the nose. Kick it up, open up the hips, bend the left knee. Extend it back up, step it forward. Warrior one. Bend your left elbow, right hand to left elbow, lift up and lean back for the back bend. So even within here, right, you're feeling extra stretch through the underside of the left arm into the armpits. Take it back to vertical, side bend to the right. Back to center, re-extend. Bend your right elbow, lean it back. Take it to vertical, lean it to the left. Back to center again. Wrap the hands back behind you, other thumb on top as you interlace. Gaze up. Bow forward, devotional. Take back up. Warrior one. Open it up. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Extended side angle. Left hand to the floor or elbow to the knee. Right palm facing down and extending forward. So you have your two options. Inhale. Take it back up. Reverse warrior. Lengthen out the left leg. Extended triangle. Left hand to the floor or hand anywhere along the shin. Right palm facing down and extending forward once again. Inhale, take it back up, reverse triangle. Bend the front knee, hands to the floor, left foot stepping back, side plank. Walk your feet in together. Roll on to outside the right hand, right foot, left arm up, and the left palm to face down and reach it forward. Take it back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Let's turn the heels in, toes apart. Maybe even walk your hands in just a little bit and start to bend your knees and take it into an extended malasana. So you're drawing the seat toward your heels as you fold forward. Now you might even want to shift the weight back toward the heels, right? And the seat toward the heels. Now either stay here supporting with your hands this far, or walk hands further back, and now you're shifting the weight towards the back of the heels. Right? To the point that maybe you can free up your hands, wrap the arms around the front of the shins, and then maybe left hand grab the right wrist, and then fold. Start to release. Everyone, extend the arms forward, maybe about parallel to the floor. Ground the palms, crow pose. Knees to the back of the arms, gaze slightly forward, and tip forward. All right, so stay there, we have your crow. Those of you just beginning to learn your crow. So your hands come forward from your toes by about 1.5 feet, and they have to be shoulders width. Palms are flat, fingers wide spread. It is your middle fingers or your index fingers pointing straight forward. Now notice how bent your elbows are, right? You want to clip the knees either to the back of the arms or to the side of the arms and squeeze inwards. Either is fine, whichever works better for you. I prefer back of the arms. Once you make this contact, gaze is to the floor slightly ahead of you. And start to shift the weight forward through your tiptoes. When your body shifts forward and your elbows start to line up over your wrists, your toes start to get lighter, and perhaps at that point you can release and take the feet off the floor. All right, so the shift forward has to be very slow and deliberate. So you're shifting the weight forward, right? You're not throwing the weight forward, right? Unless you know how to catch that weight. Otherwise, it's a very slow shifting of the weight forward and letting your hands beginning to bear the weight of the body until get to the point that the toes come off the floor. So that is your crow pose. All right, step the feet back down, walk your hands forward, come back to the down dog. Inhale, raise your right leg up, three-legged dog. Step the right foot forward between your hands, left knee comes down for crescent moon. Lunging the hips forward. Now, for those of you with sensitive knees and you need a little bit of cushioning, you can take your blankets, you can take your towels, right? Or if you don't have either, you can take your mat, left side towards center, and now double up your mat. So that's a very nice and easy way for you to get some extra cushioning. Then lunging of the hips forward. You want to start to feel for the stretch of the front of this left quads, right, into your hips. Then you want the right heel to ground to the floor, so you really anchor down. And you want the right knee to be directly over the right heel, vertical line, the best you can. Right? So you should be lunging forward, feeling for the stretch through all of this, right? Then press your hands into your thighs and leaning the upper torso back. Sink the belly away from the thighs, right? Rather than belly leaning forward, you're taking a back bend here like this. You see how this is all just not happening throughout the back bend, throughout the entire spine, but it's very specific on just one part, right? And this doesn't give you a lot of range. However, if you press into your hands, lift the torso and lean it back, and think about the belly away from the thighs. When you lean back, it's a much more expressive, a much more wide-ranging back bend, right, in your crescent moon. Once you have this back bend and you're ready, taking the arms up, Venus Mudra, index fingers pointing up, and reach up and back. Right, so staying here, for those of you with tight shoulders, maybe arms straight up, maybe straight forward at an angle. You can also separate your hands. Right, so there are multiple ways of achieving this shoulder opener and back bend. Start to release your hands. Tuck the back toes, your left toes under. Shift back, half split. So you want to line up the left hip over your left knee, vertical line. Flex your right foot, pull the toes back actively so you get a nice stretch to the back of the right leg. So you're going to feel it very strongly against the calves and the hamstrings. All right, let's step the right foot back down and turn the right toes out at an angle. Notice that now also your right thigh turns out at an angle. Untuck the back toes again. Walk your left hand a little bit wider, maybe slightly off the mat. So now the triangle in which you're balancing on is a little bit wider, right? So that means it's probably a little bit more stable. All right, so hips lean forward, and as you reach your right arm out, rotate at the spine to reach your right arm up and behind you to your lower back and maybe to your outer right hip. Then press your right hand, top of the right hand to your lower, to your outside of the hip or your lower back, and rotate at the spine. Draw the front of the right shoulder up and back to twist. If this is good, you are staying here. If you're going further, find the right hand to your left foot and kick the foot back. Then begin to release your left foot. Raise your right arm up over the right ear, right side stretch. Square back to center. Walk your hands forward about a foot, and then lower your forearms, and this is your lizard pose. Now, for those of you that find this pose very difficult, right? You don't have a lot of hip flexibility. You can just keep your arms extended. Just make sure you're leaning forward and downwards, right? And so you're getting into all this hip opening. Now, if you have blocks, it might be helpful for you to take your forearms to blocks in this way, right? So this way is a little bit deeper than just your arms, but at the same time, it's not as demanding as this with the forearms all the way down. All right, wherever you are, lift back up. We're going to stay in this hip opener and then walk the torso toward the left side at an angle. Then walk your left forearm to the floor if you can. If you cannot, it could be a block. It could be, again, your blanket, right? Giving you some elevation. If that doesn't work and you have to use your hand fully extended, then you're just staying there. Then reach your right hand forward, and as you crawl the right hand forward, see if you can start to bend your left elbow a little bit. Do the best you can and lower as far down as you can. But the right arm, fully extended, very active, reaching forward to a diagonal. So that entire right side should get a very nice stretch. If you have the left forearm down, it's a very nice stabilized position for you to have your left arm this way, and then you can just pay more attention to the right arm extension. All right, just keep reaching forward and slightly to your left. Hips are moving forward, leaning forward, right shoulder also leaning forward and to the left. All right, beginning to walk your right hand back in, lift the left elbow. Keep your left hand down. This time, threading the needle, right arm, thread underneath your left, and then start to bend your left elbow. As you bend your left elbow, the right shoulder, right cheek comes toward the floor. All right? So bending the elbow, but keep resisting with your left hand. All right? So this should give you a really nice middle spinal twist, your thoracic twist, as it then extends through your right shoulder, right arm, through the right fingertips as you lower it down. All right, so there's a very deep hip opener, shoulder stretch, thoracic twist. All right, press into your left hand, walk it back in. Then turn the right toes back forward. Frame your right foot with your hands, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then gently start to lengthen out the front leg. All right? Oh my God, that release, right? You might need to shake it out a little bit just to get some blood to flow through the hips. All right, once you get a little bit more neutralization and you feel like, okay, you're ready, then hand supported. Re-lengthen your spine and fold over that right leg. Now, for those of you who have blocks or need blocks, here's your opportunity to use your blocks here. Right? So if you don't have a block, but you have a water bottle, right? Imagine there's a water bottle, right? You can take it to the inside of the foot using both hands evenly so that you're utilizing your arms evenly through your torso, the upper torso. Right? Because if you use one hand and not the other, you see how the shoulder can collapse, right? So you're possibly, right, not using your arms and your shoulders symmetrically, and that could possibly have any kind of potential back issues, right? That could pull something. So use both hands evenly. All right, bend the front knee, ground the back heel, and then circle it up into warrior two. Lengthen out the right leg. Bend the front knee. All right? 3 times. Lengthen and bend. This is just to get some movement back into your hips. Lengthen and bend. Inhale, come up, reverse warrior, and then hands to the floor. Right foot stepping back and lower all the way down to the belly. Walk your hands forward a little bit and take the forearms down. Sphinx pose. You want to measure about shoulder width, so grabbing opposite elbows, and that will help you measure shoulder width. And then re-extend the arms forward. Then check that your arms are 90 degrees, so your shoulders should line up with your elbows. Right? So once you get into that point, then press your belly and your lower ribs to the floor. Notice when you take this action, the lower spine feels like it's flattening and extending, right? And that's what you're looking for, that stretch and that extension to your lower back. Then pressing your forearms down to lift your chest, and this is where your mid-back bend comes into play. Right? So with your belly and your lower ribs pressing down, you're extending the lower spine. Then pressing your forearms down and lifting your chest, you're going into your middle spinal back bend. Keeping your toes reaching back, your legs are active. The gaze is slightly forward, maybe about 3 feet ahead of you, so that you're not looking straight forward, which is crunching the back of the neck. You're not looking straight down, which is overstretching the neck. So slightly forward actually gives you a more neutral position. Now, do you feel that your lower spine, lower back, is pressing toward the floor and kind of getting that release right? Now, because you are releasing in this way, when you come out of it, you have to be very mindful about moving out of this position, right? And going into the opposite, which is forward folding. All right, so let's start to come out. So start to press into your hands and move the elbows outwardly so that you can lower your chest. Then walk your hands back alongside the ribs and then press into your hands, lift the torso and the hips, and slowly, slowly, slowly start to take the seat toward the heels. Now press into your hands strongly. Use that resistance to get more stretch out of your forward fold here in child's pose. Right? So the more you get your seat toward the heels, the nicer stretch you get to your lower back and to your glutes. And then once you get to that maximum, start to let the head release as well. Start to walk your hands back in. Stay seated on your heels. Take the elbows to bend, and the arms are still 90 degrees, palms are facing down. We're going to twist 5 times to the right and 5 times to the left. So staying here, inhale, exhale, twist right, back to center, twist right, back to center, twist right, back to center, twist right is 4, back to center, twist right, 5, back to center, left, twist left, back to center, left, back to center, left, back to center, left, back to center, left, back to center. Wrap the hands back behind you, interlace, broaden your shoulders. As you draw the shoulders back, reach your knuckles back as well. Lift the heart center up and gently looking up. So you're looking forward and upwards at an angle. You're not looking straight up to the sky. And release. Walk it back to down dog. Inhale, left heel up to sky, 3-legged dog. Step the left foot forward between your hands, right knee comes down, crescent moon. So again, you can use your blanket. To your right knee, you can use your towels. You can fold your mat right side towards center to double up. So all those are good options. Go ahead and stabilize your base. Right, so with your one or both hands on the floor for support, lean the hips forward. Get into the stretch of your right quads, right, into the hips. Keep the left heel grounded to the floor, and you should want to end up with a vertical line with your left shin. Walk your hands to top of thighs and lunge even more deeply forward. Now notice that your belly starts to lean forward, right? So you have to think about pressing your hands to your thighs, lean the upper torso and taking your belly with you when you start to lean back. As you lean the upper torso back, you start to look upwards at an angle. So again, you're not looking straight up, you're looking forward at an angle so that the back of the neck stays elongated. Once you have this position solidly balanced, you can take Venus Mudra, arms up and back. So again, if arms way back here, it's too much for your shoulders, straight up is fine, slightly angling forward is fine, arms separated. All those are great options. Begin to release. Hands to either side of the left foot, tuck the back toes. Shift your hips over your right knee, flex left foot. So this is your half split. Hands supporting, lengthen on the inhale. All right, so you're looking to flex your foot so you get that stretch your back of the left leg, so your calves and your hamstrings. And then with that lengthiness, also with the lengthiness of the spine, start to hinge at the hips, take it forward into the stretch. Step that left foot back down and turn the left toes out at an angle, 30 to 45 degrees. So notice I always come back to this 30 to 45 degrees mark, right? Really important because it's very supportive. Also, it gives many of the poses its structure, right? And this one, you want to angle the left thigh out at an angle as well, about the same as your foot, 30 to 45 degrees. Then the right hand goes a little bit wider, maybe even off the mat, right? So now you have a wider triangle in which you're balancing. But the hips still leaning straight forward. It is coming from the rotation of the spine, right, for your twist. Then take the left hand behind you, top of the left hand to your lower back or to your outer right hip. Now with that resistance, let the front of the left shoulder draw up and back in the rotation, getting more space to the front of the left shoulder. Right? So be mindful, hips are moving straight forward. Try not to roll to the outside of the right leg. Right? That's a whole different pose. Right? I prefer this as being a much more stabilizing pose as opposed to rolling to the outer edge of the right hip. Right? When you do that, you have to then take other shapes with your foot, right? Which I think is a lot more demanding, a lot more skillful. So it takes a little bit more instructions and more practice to go into that variation, right? This is much more stable for most of us. All right, start to release your left hand. Reach your left arm over left ear, left side stretch. Then start to release your left hand to the floor. Now notice your torso is now starting to angle over to the right side. Walk your hands forward and as far out as you can. Now for those of you who are a little bit tighter in the hips and you don't have the range to lower your forearms, that's okay. Keep the right arm extended. But what I do want is your left arm to be very actively reaching outwards and crawling your left fingertips to the floor and tractioning your left fingertips down. So you're moving forward and to the right with your left arm and very actively crawling, right? So the right hand is supporting, but the left hand is actively extending. Now, if you have the range, take your forearm down, go ahead and take it. Reach forward. All right, walk the left hand back in, lift the right elbow. I realize I forgot to give you the regular lizard pose first. So let's come back to center. Walk your hands forward by about a foot, and then start to lower your forearms down. Now, if you're able to take it here, then keep it. If you need your forearms to a block again, go ahead and take your forearms to a block or to your blanket, right? All those are helpful because it's giving you some elevation, which makes it easier. Now, if you don't have any props to help you, then just crawl your hands forward and just lean the hips forward and downwards, right? So you want the energy of the hips moving this way. That is your hip opener. But keep supporting with your hands. All right, let's walk back in. Lift the elbows up, walk back in. Now let's go back sideways, right? Let's continue. All right, so we took the forearms down and extended, walking the hands back in. Now you're threading the needle. Left arm threads underneath your right. The more you crawl your left hand over to the right side, the deeper the stretch into your left shoulder, into your thoracic twist. You want to bend your right elbow and start to lower your left shoulder, left cheek toward the floor. Press into your right hand. Walk it back in. Turn the left toes back forward. Frame your left foot with your hands. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then gently lengthen it into your pyramid. All right? You feel that release, right? It could be kind of vigorous, very strong, right? So be careful and mindful and moving slowly into that. Right, so for those of you, again, who need your blocks as an extension of your arms, here it is, right? You can use your water bottles once again, or a book. Yesterday I introduced maybe even canned goods, right? If you have two of the same size can or two of the same exact product, right? Those are your blocks, right? So those are the extension of your arms. They're pretty easily maneuverable. right? So they're not very clumsy because if you have two very sturdy cans, they could be very helpful. And you just can't always use those cans for everything, right? Because they're kind of narrow. So you don't want to put that narrow, hard surface onto your sacrum, right? It could be just too much, right? Whereas a block, even though it's a hard surface, it's got more surface area, so it's more supportive. All right, bend the front knee, ground the back heel, take it up into warrior one, open it up for warrior two. Lengthen your left leg, bend the left knee. So moving around just a little bit, lengthen and bend, lengthen and bend. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, hands to the floor, left foot stepping back and lower all the way down to the belly. Reach your fingertips back, reach your toes back. Inhale, lift, Shavasana, Locust Pose. Right? You're staying here. For those of you who are lucky enough to have a block, a book, and then also possibly a blanket, here's a great way. Right? If you haven't already done it with me in the past, a great way to take the back bend. This wedging of this block into the lower ribs helps you to lift, right? And so this way, you don't have to fight so hard to lift, but you get a really great back bend. Right? This is wonderful. I can stay here for a lot longer and get the benefits of that back bend. You just have to find the right spot, right? Underneath your ribs. And start to release and gently lift back up and transitioning back into your child's pose, nice and slow. And then take it back up again. I'll give you a front view this time. Walk knees in together. All right? Once you have your knees in together, hands forward. Then keeping your knees and your inner thighs together, walk your feet wider. And then, so your feet should be wider than your hips. You should be able to insert your hand between the foot and the hip. Now, for those of you who have the flexibility to sit all the way down, go ahead and sit down. I don't have that flexibility. I'm going to need a little bit of help. So I'm going to sit on the block, or you can sit on your blankets, right? All of those are really great options. What you do want are your inner thighs and your knees close together if you can. Have your blocks as high as you need. So here, you're going to feel a lot into the hips. It's going to be in a rotation with your thighs. There's going to be a lot of stretch into your quads, into your knees, into your shins, and tops of the ankles and the tops of the feet, right? So this is your Virasana. Right? So for some of us, this could be really quite difficult, quite tough, right? So if you have short muscles around the thighs, right, your quads, this stretch, which is quite extreme, could be very difficult. But for those of you who have a little bit more mobility, a lot more stretch, a lot more joint mobility, this could be pretty easy, and perhaps you have the hip flexibility to also sit all the way down. If you have that, fantastic. All right, for the rest of us, just going to have to work a little bit with elevation. All right, so keeping all of this, take the hands together in prayer, interlace, press the palms forward, round the spine, chin toward the chest, and hold it here. Right? Keep active with your palms reaching forward. Keep active with the openness of the back by rounding the spine, chin toward the chest. On the next inhale, lift up, keep your hand. Right? So first take it to a vertical. Get to a comfortable vertical spot, and then with the slightest of action, lift the sternum, your heart center slightly upwards, which then tilts your upper back a little bit. And then maybe even take a slight gaze looking upwards. Right? So there is a very mild back bend happening. Come back to a more neutral position. Release your hands. Wrap the hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers. Draw the shoulders back. reach your knuckles back, lift the sternum up, squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other, really spread the front of the chest and your shoulders. And this time, looking up a little bit more, not directly up, you're still looking at an angle. So you still want the back of the neck supported here. Come back to neutral, release your hands. You're going to walk the hands forward and come out of this position for a little bit, just to let your legs release a little bit. We will take it back again. Tuck the toes under, support with your hands, start to lift the knees, a very short down dog. Just getting some circulation back to the legs. Once you can sway out side to side, go ahead, sway it out. Right, so you're probably feeling a lot of rushing of blood through the legs, maybe even a little bit of coolness, right? A little bit of tingling. Right, so just make sure you pedal out. Give your ankle joints, knee joints, hip joints lots of movement. Toe joints as well, right? All right. Feeling a little bit more neutral. Let's get ready again. Bend at the knees. Kick the knees back. Inner thighs together, knees together. Feet slightly wider than your hips so that you're taking Virasana. So again, sit down comfortably. Right? Use your blocks if you need. Make sure you have that space, right? So you're inserting your hand in between your hips and your feet. Right? So inner thighs staying together as close as you can. Now, for those of us who have straps, right, you can always take a strap and kind of lock it all in. But if you don't have straps, it's just a lot of extra work that you might have to do in order to keep your inner thighs together, right? And of course, if you need it, please take it if you have a strap, right? Often, what happens is, if you don't have the flexibility, your knees start to slide out and they start to open, right? So having the straps and you lock it in really draws the knees together and your thighs together, which really goes into the inner rotation of your hip joints, right? Of your hips. So then this gives you that flexibility you're looking for. So flexibility is not just outer rotation, but also inner rotation, right? So full range of motion in two directions. All right, so Virasana, hands together in prayer. Now, if you can figure out the non-dominant interlacing your hands, it's the other thumb on top this time. Press forward, round the spine, chin toward the chest. Then, on the next inhale, lift up to first a vertical line. Then think about your sternum lifting upwards, which tilts your upper torso back a little bit, your shoulders. And then with that, maybe a gentle looking up. Come back to neutral, release your hands. Wrap the hands back behind you. Take the other thumb on top. Then again, broaden your shoulders. Kiss your shoulder blades together. Reach your knuckles away from you, which broadens your chest even more. Lift your sternum. Gently looking up, you can go a little bit deeper this time. Come back to neutral, release your hands. Again, walk your hands forward. Supporting with your fingers, with your hands, tuck the toes under. And come up again to a very short down dog. Again, sway it out side to side whenever you're able to. Right? Initially, you might not be able to move your legs that much, right? That's okay. Give yourself a moment or two to get some circulation. And once you get some sensations back, right, you can start to move around, pedal out, sway it out. All right, so yogic squat with your hands supporting. Turn your toes outwardly. Now, for those of you with tighter hips, you might have to walk your feet out a little bit wider and turn your toes out even more. You might, again, if you have a block, you might have to have your blocks near you so that you can sit up on the block, right? If that's not necessary, you're just doing a regular squat. So you want your toes turned out. You want the heels to be flat if you can. Start to bend your knees and let the feet drop. right? Once you're nice and stable, hands together in prayer. So this time in the yogic squat, you're taking outer rotation, right? Now, for those of you where this squatting pose is difficult, if you happen to have a block, fantastic. You can sit up on the block. So go to the point where you're actually feeling something, right? You don't want to be so supportive that you're not actually getting any kind of work out of your squatting pose, right? Squatting is quite important for your hips and your lower back, right? So it's not only strength, flexibility, it's also strengthening. It's also quite strengthening for your internal organs as well. And so squatting is quite important for your pelvic wall. You know, it's this kind of membrane that holds all of your organs up, right, internally. So this is creating elasticity within your pelvic wall. And so as you settle into this, press your arms to your inner knees back to your arms. So it's quite strong and a lot of resistance here. Once you have this resistance, you want to let the feet get heavy. And then you want to press your arms into your knees back into your arms, and maybe lift the upper back a little bit. So it's a very, very active squatting pose. All right, start to release. Walk the hands behind you and take the feet down. Extend the legs forward. Take a seated spinal twist. Left leg extended, right foot over. Now, if you're tighter around the hips, then this is the pose that you want. You want both feet to be grounded evenly to the floor. However, if you have a little bit more openness, right, and you have a full seated spinal twist, take the left heel in first, right leg over. You want both feet to be grounded evenly to the floor. You want the right foot to be flat. Wherever you are, right hand behind you, left arm up on the inhale, and then twist to the right. Hook the left arm to the top of the right leg. You want a vertical spine, and then rotating from that central axis. Now, if you tend to round the spine, right, I talk about this a lot. If you tend to round the spine and the elbow to the top of the right leg is difficult, then you want to take that into a modified position. Wrap the arm instead. If even this is difficult, then take the hand. So the longer you make this left arm, the less you're going to round, right? Because when you're really short in the arm, for you to then hook the arm to the leg, you might end up having to round, right? You don't want any roundedness in your spine. You want a lengthy, tall spine to twist into. All right, square back to center, counter twist to your left. Release, center again, legs forward. All right, so again, if you're taking the half variation, right leg fully extended, left leg over. Both feet are evenly grounded to the floor. If you're taking the full variation, right heel comes in, left leg over, right? Left hand to the floor, right arm is up, and twist to your left. Vertical spine. Twist from that central axis. Either right elbow to top of the left leg, right arm around the left leg, or right hand around the left leg. All those are good options. Choose the one that is appropriate for your body. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, counter twist to the right. Back to center again. Extend both legs forward. Let's take a forward fold. Arms up, elongate, hinge at the hips to take it forward. Right? Keeping the spine straight. Once you hit your maximum, then move your arms to grab your feet, ankles, or your shins, whatever you can hold on to. Really lengthen your spine. Exhale. With the lengthiness, take it forward. Release, come back up with your hands supporting, sliding the hands out. Let's draw both knees in, hugging both knees in. And then just from here, release your feet to the floor. Slide the legs forward. Let the feet separate, toes are turned out, arms alongside the body, palms face up. And let it all go, Shavasana. And start to draw the breath back in. Moving your fingers and your toes. Reach the arms overhead, stretching in opposite directions. And then rolling over to the right side and come up to a comfortable cross-legged position. Reconnecting to an even seat, a lengthy spine, shoulders broad, breath deep. And let the neck be free. Inhale from Hands together in prayer. Bowing forward, sealing the practice. Come up. Namaste, everybody. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. I appreciate your time. Please visit my website, simhayoga.com, for the full streaming schedule, as well as my payment information for Venmo and for PayPal. I'm streaming on Instagram and on Facebook, and the videos are uploaded to my YouTube channel, Simha Yoga Lab. Classes are $10. If you're having a difficult time right now, $5 is fine. Please do the best you can. If you're, again, thinking about coming to the studio for in-studio practice, please go to the website. Look for the text that is in pink, and below that is a waiver. You need to download an e-sign. Save that e-signed document. Alternatively, you can print it out, actually sign it, and then you can scan it or photograph it and use that file on your pre-registration by email to send back to me. Right? So I need that waiver from you on file. So follow the instructions in the pink text. It's basically instructions to give you on how to pre-register for class. It's just sending an email with your name, the date, and the time in which you would like to take class on the subject line of email, and then I'll email a confirmation back to you saying that I have space for you. I'm working with only 25% capacity, so it is a limited class that we are doing here. So please do that. I recommend for you to plan on it, and please email me a few hours in advance. If you're a little bit short in time, I might not be able to get back to you because I'm kind of juggling many things here. So please keep that in mind. All right, thank you so much. Be well.